Hello, it's the Catholic CEO, Henry Katarna. Welcome to this Catholic Business Wisdom Series session today on the final topic in our organizational structure series called Unincorporated Entities. The question before us today is doing business without a corporate structure, without any of the not-for-profit 501c3, 501c4, or limited liability corporations, or any other organization. The idea is that you would do business on your own, in your own name, with yourself as an individual or with others, but not under a legal name or in any kind of incorporated entity. So it's a very standard way of doing business for many people who choose not to incorporate as a not-for-profit or as a business corporation. And the idea is that it's simpler, and it also applies to certain cases that we'll talk about today. The idea is that in this model, unincorporated, you would do business. You would deliver a service or make a product and sell it in your personal name. So you would enter into contracts personally. You would have credit worthiness tests applied to you personally. You wouldn't have a business that, because it's not an entity, no bank will or any credit lending authority will ever look at it unless it's incorporated. You will work under your own authority, so you will have not only contracts, but also directives, staff, relationships, customers, and all that in your own name. You would arrange any financing in your own personal name. You would encounter debt, and you would take on debt or settle it all in your personal name. And because it's in your personal name and not with the shielding effect, of a corporation with its firewalls, your entire net worth, all that you own, is at risk when you make a move in business. If you get sued or if you encounter a regulatory problem or you get into some kind of trouble, you're personally at risk. This model also precludes you entering into a trust arrangement or any kind of structure or having a board, because very rare to find a board that would be willing to govern an individual. And you certainly will have difficulty finding an advisory board, because no advisory board will come together to advise or to provide counsel to an individual. As you can see, lots of barriers, lots of challenges, lots of difficulties with this model. The idea of an unincorporated entity doing business is applied only to certain situations. And I would say this, my recommendations are as follows. First, it's okay to do this when you are a small enterprise. Let's say you're turning one of your hobbies into a business, or you're doing a side gig, or you're doing a small home-based business. It's okay to do this when you're small because the risks are low and the consequences are not that high. It's also okay when you have a small number, few partners or associates that engage with you. So sometimes 2 or 3 families or 2 or 3 friends will get together and they'll start making a small product or provide a simple service, that sort of thing. When your teenage son or daughter provides a lawn mowing service or a snow shoveling service or something like that, you're going to discover that this model is easily applied because there's no formal complexity about business intended. It's really just part-time gigs with small-time money and perhaps not very big of a market and not a very widespread advertising or marketing campaign required. It's also okay when you have a very simple business, like we just said in the example. If you have a lemonade stand or you're running up and down the streets of your neighborhood offering snow removal or lawn cutting services, it's very simple business and you don't need to have the formality. And people don't mind so much paying you directly. You're not going to be governed by a board. And if you run into troubles, if there's an unhappy customer, they know where to find you, right? They phone you, they come down the street and they knock on your door and they say you left some weeds or the lawn is cut unevenly or something like that. So in summary, the unincorporated entity model does have applications. It's a good model for the beginning, the small, the side gig, the simple, but not for long. So my concluding comment is don't do this for too long because the risks become higher, but it's a good way to test out your enterprise, your idea, without spending a lot of money or engaging in a lot of formalities. It's a good idea in those circumstances, but you should be very cautious because very soon the risk becomes higher and eventually the risk becomes so high that you must guard yourself and you must protect yourself through an incorporated entity. So there you go. It's the Catholic CEO, Henry Katarna. Thanks for joining me today.